All right, gang. Coach Jay with Leap Zone Strategies here on, wait for it, wait for it, No Bullshit Thursdays. That's right. It is my turn to sit in the captain's chair here and run the weekly Leap Zone share, which is our No Bullshit Thursdays. So here we go, gang. No bullshit, no punches held, no quarter given. Find your middle lane. Find your middle lane on the highway of life and in business. And I'm going to break this down for you. For those of you that don't know, Leap Zone Strategies is a heart-led business. We lead with the heart. We are conscious business through and through with what we do, and thereby, by design, attract a lot of heart-led business owners and people into our universe. Regardless of that, though, there is definitely a paradigm shift that is happening in business. We got two spectrums, and the shift is happening. We have that old school on one end, old school business approach, and we have that kind of new school conscious business spirituality bookend over here on this side. And the shift is in play 100%. And we know that old school approach. We know, that the age old early bird gets the worm. You got to do your sweat equity, right? You got to get in there, get in the trenches, work and work and work. And a lot of times success and status is measured by your success or lack thereof. There's a lot of pressures associated with that old school intellectual business type. A lot of external pressures, a lot of financial pressures, a lot of waking up every day worrying about the hows. How am I going to do this? Got to make this happen. Got to do that. Got to do that. And it's a very heavy way to do business. And likewise, it's a very heavy way to do life. Right? So think about that old school approach to personal development, to the lives that we live every day. Got to work. I want to pave a way for my family. I want to work 70 hours a week. This is all about building a future. Yeah, I get that. And at what end? Because one thing that is equated to that lane on the highway is a common denominator of regret when people get older. We see this all the time. We see it, that deathbed regret. And I'm not getting morbid here, folks, but it is a reality. What do most people say? I shouldn't have worked as hard. Can't fucking argue that. I should have spent more time smelling the roses. I should have spent more time loving my wife, loving my kids, going to watch their baseball games. I should have had more time doing that while I'm running my business and figured out ways to honor that. So that is that one side, old school spectrum of business mentality. Now on the other side, on the new school, on the spiritual conscious business side is all the trust and the flow of the universe and the everything's going to be fine, everything will work out, and letting that universe, source, God, whatever it is for each of you, to in all its wonder just design your life and you're along for the ride. Okay, and there's some truth to that. My point is, whether it's business, we call this woo-woo, and some people term it woo-woo, woo-woo, hippy-dippy, right? But if you're energy workers, if you're coming from a place of business in that, or personally, you're just kind of very gypsy-esque, free-flowing, wherever the wind takes the leaf type of mentality, that's on that one side. Now, here's the thing, gang. Here's the kicker. We are spiritual beings. We are energy spiritual beings, and every day we're having human experiences. We are spiritual beings that every day have human experiences. So by the nature of that, the secret sauce, if you will, is to blend the two, is to find that pendulum, bring it into what, gang? Bring it into the middle lane. Okay, now that middle lane will be different for me, it will be different from you, it will be different for that business owner, that person, whomever it is. We need to merge in there, and then we find that it's not a solid groove. Everyone has their percentage makeup, right? So yeah, in that middle lane, it might still be a little bit on this side of the spectrum, a little bit, or the middle lane might be here, or maybe dead center, right? We don't know. But if we truly want to maximize a change in our life, in our businesses, in our relationships, in whatever it is, we need to merge into that middle lane. Okay? We see this a lot too with business, or not business, personality types. The creative, the creators versus the doers, right? We know we have, some of you may be that creative spark, right? Business guy that wants to start a business and has all these brilliant ideas, popping off like popcorn, right? Brilliance. And what happens? Lack of follow through, right? Same thing on the personal level. All of these great ideas and want to do this and bucket list items and let's do this, let's start this. And yet there isn't that middle lane where we bring some of the doer, the implementer, into the equation, right? The doers on that other side of the spectrum, same thing, right? They just want to check things off a list, right? They're the person, get shit done and move on, right? They don't want to be bogged down in having creative brainstorms. Just tell me what you need and I'll do it, right? But again, for business owners on that side, you need some of that creative free flow, that organic nature to come into that rigidity that a lot of doers go for, right? So there's a lot of spectrums here, and at the end, it's still about finding that middle lane. Okay, so how do we assess? How do we ask ourselves, okay, what am I? What am I? Are you old school or new school? Okay, and that goes personal or business, gang. Personal or business. Old school, new school. What would I have to change or add to start to merge into that middle lane? So, for example, I'll give you some context here. I am a strategic business owner, hardline intellectual. I push. All I do is push. I make shit happen. Well, I know, because that's kind of the way I used to be, I know that magic started to happen when I started to sprinkle in some of the pixie dust on this side of the spectrum, right? I started to kind of invite more play into the workplace, find time for myself, that flow of balance, mindfulness, getting into creating boundaries around my own time. All of these things that slowly brought me, back into that kind of middle lane. We see this a lot with, I have a number of one-on-one clients that are energy workers. They have different modalities, but at the end they're of a spiritual practice, and many of them are designed that way, where they're all about their gifts. They're all about helping people, right? And they just want to deliver their genius, deliver their ability to impact and to elevate someone. And what they don't realize is that there needs to be some rigidity, some business structure in there, some strategy, some next steps some goals, right? Some of that kind of old school in there to make them more efficient. Not only about making revenue for them, but it's about allowing them the ability to then impact more people and share their gifts with more people and change the world by nature, right? So those are a couple of examples of bringing people in that middle lane. And then ultimately what? At the end of the day, it's about creating a framework or a habitual nature for you to stay in there, right? Daily practices, being mindful of where you sit in the spectrum and finding ways in your day where you can see whether it's written down on a Google Calendar, whatever it's going to be, where you have your, business strategy stuff and your personal mindset and inner game work. Boom! What a beautiful combo. That's an equation for success, and it's sprinkled in however it works for each and every one of us, right? Creating habitual response patterns, right? Checks and balances for yourself. And then what happens is that middle lane, gang, is like it's like a bowling alley, right? My kids, they had those bumper rails or something. When you go to a bowling alley, they put up the rails so when you throw the ball, it ding, comes back, ding, right? But it's always staying in that middle lane, and that's life. Our car may kind of veer, our vehicle will veer here and there, but if we create the habitual response to stay forward in that middle lane, Bob's your uncle. Okay? So, hardline truth, gang. I truly believe each and every one of us, if we want to be better human beings, which I know I do, and I trust many of you that are on this, want to be better human beings, and better fathers, and better mothers, and better wives, lovers, teachers, business owners, and run better businesses. Find the middle lane. Find where that pendulum swings between old school, strategical, intellectual business, sweat equity versus conscious business. You won't regret it, and I guarantee you, you will be better off. The people around you will be better off. Everyone's energy will rise. All right, there it is. No bullshit Thursdays. I'm out. Find that middle lane, gang. Cheers.